Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon, Flight boss the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to get into, what is an orb? Now what the fuck is an orb? Now I'm finna get into it. Now I want to break it down for how we can understand it on our level, because this is one of the ways how in the frequency spirit realm, when they was relating to each other, based upon relative to the space that they was in and the relationship and the interactions that they had, that's what created the void, the rainbow waters, the imagination and shit like that. But we know the mind is what creates light. So, you know, you create the sound, the light. You created this physical body that you're in, this shell that you're in. So for the most part, as an orb, we know that these are creations. These are vehicles that spirits can ride. But before we get that deep, let's talk about what is an actual orb. Now, you have an aura the same way I have an aura. My aura is consisted of a bunch of frequency vibrations that's moving in certain dynamics and things of that nature, aka information. You got an aura that's mixed in with a bunch of elements and frequency vibrations that's moving at a different pace than me. So whenever we come together or whenever we bounce off ideas, right, that little space in between us, right, that creates an orb, that creates a world, and that orb is accumulated with a mixture of both of our auras, aka elements and frequency vibrations, and then this becomes a creation, an embodiment that we could both take on to experience that imagination that we have created. Now, for the most part, as an orb, it's the space. It's like a space. It's almost how you feel like when you about to get into a fight, right? And you be like, man, you better not cross this line. You better not cross this line. What line? It's an imaginary line, but it's there. That's almost like you saying something with pure conviction. The more conviction, the more firmament, the more solid something could be in your life. So you may act in certain ways and say certain things in certain ways that won't allow people to ask you certain questions, or won't allow people to ask to borrow some money from you, or won't allow, just because of the way you act and the way you carry yourself and the conviction that you put behind these firmaments and these words, right? It's an imaginary restriction there. Imaginary boundary. But where is that boundary? This is how you can be how you can not be up on somebody and touching them, but they can be like, oh man, you know, I need some space. See, due to your relationships, you see what I'm saying? So it goes but you're not on this person smothering them, but so what are they talking about that they need space? See, y'all orbs are too enclosed in or mixed and mingled into each other. See, that's space in the astral realm. You have space in the physical realm, and you have space in the astral realm. And you know, so this is how you got to understand and learn how to move. So orbs is basically the space that we have and the imagination and that world that we can create that's between us. It's a space. You know what I'm saying? This is also how you could be like, you know what I'm saying, I just need my space. I gotta go my own way. But a person ain't actually on you, got no handcuffs on you or put a gun to your head. But so this is where those metaphors come from. Like, I ain't make you do that. I ain't put a gun to your head. That's where these metaphors come from and things of that nature. So orbs is just truly the astral space. And like I said, there's always space within space. So there's always frequencies vibrating in one space separate than the other space. It's all space within space, different frequency vibrations bouncing in within each other. Now, as far as astrological terms, I like to give this a 10-degree span between planets. Now, when you're looking at it as an orb, this is the relationship that they have within each other. So when you are a star, just like these planets are stars. So for an example, say you got Mars sextile Venus. Now, Mars can't see this realm of reality from the perspective of Venus, because they're at two different perspectives. They're relative to each other. Based upon how they're relative to each other is two different points of views, right? But the space between them, that's just not nothing. There's still an influence, which is what? Light, sound, concepts, which is what's being created between them. And these are bodies and lights and sounds that spirits can ride to experience that imagination or that world. You see what I'm saying? And then that world that's being created, you can go in that world and learn how to deal with that world to understand how you are in that world. You could go there spiritually and take that spiritual light body and understand how to correlate yourself in that world. So when you do receive information, you know what it cause reactions, you know what happened if you did this, you know what won't happen if you do this, and then you know how to correlate and deal with people, places, and things that share similar energy, frequency, vibrations. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, it's like, now, say you got Mars sextile Venus, right? So that space between them is an influence, and both of that wave is traveling through the influence, through the void, through the space, and that space is accumulated with both of their frequencies. So we know what Mars mean: intent, willpower, passions, and motivations. We know what Venus mean: love and appreciation, value, and compromising. And it also could be bad habits. So sextile creates opportunities. So since Mars and Venus is sextile in each other, you're dealing with lights and influences and channeling back to each other. And what's happening with those lights and sounds through the void that's being created is a world, a body that your spirit can go in and to experience that imagination. Now here's what's going on. Because these are just bodies that your spirit could take to experience that imagination. Now, with the Mars and Venus sextiling, that creates an opportunity. So that world, this would let you know what that world is consist of now. That world is consist of the experiences of opportunities between your intent, willpower, passions, motivations, and desires going to be even loved, appreciated, valued, related to, or compromised from yourself or others. And vice versa. Your love, appreciation, value, and relativeness and compromising is going to experience opportunities to be part of your intentions, your willpower, your passions, your motivations, your desires. So a lot of times with the Mars sextile Venus, you have to make sure you're going to experience a bunch of opportunities, but make sure you're not taking on the opportunities of just jumping in and diving passionately into the people, places, and things that you love, appreciate, and value, because it can lead to overindulging, to bad habits, to leading into experiences you have to learn how to do things in moderation. So see, that's the opportunity. Now with the elements and frequency vibrations and the actions that's being taken place in that world, you will have to know what signs it's in. So say you got Mars in Leo and Venus and Libra, so that'll be the sextile. So now you got fire, seeing and feeling about your intent, willpower, passions, and motivations, and then you're going to experience opportunities to express these things in a sextile Libra way: communicative, relatable, compromising, sharing type of way, balancing type of way. So if you got Mars and Leo sextile Libra and Venus, you may be a person who know how to take their intent and their passions, and you may be very charismatic and have a bright personality when it comes to diving into your intent, willpower, passions, and motivations, and you know how to come across well to others. You know how to relate them to others. You know how to you know how to balance it out with others. You know how to relate them, and you know how to make it loved, appreciated, and valued, and related to, and compromised with from yourself and others. Due to the you're gonna experience opportunities though. You may not always be in this position, but with this sextile is always gonna create opportunities. The world is that orb between that sextile is going to create opportunities. So when we're looking at in astrology, right, the orb, I like to say I give it a 10-degree orb. For an example, my sun, ascendant, and my moon are trying each other. So, but my sun and my ascendant, they're both at 17 degrees, but my moon is at 8 degrees. So right here, we're dealing with a 9-degree orb. So it's like I said, we have to correlate it with space. So that's the space that they have between each other. So this lets you know, the further the space, the lesser the influence. The closer the space, the more the influence. So right here, when we got anything outside of 10 degrees, it kind of leads the having any kind of powerful influence. You see what I'm saying? But if it's within a 10-degree orb, to 0, then we can say that's a trine or a sextile. You see what I'm saying? Or opposition, and whatever the angle may be. So the orb is very important because it's going to let you know how much influence, how much distance. That's almost like you're standing here and someone could be standing over here. the person who's standing right here gonna have more of an influence on me than the person over here. So that's how we look at degrees. That's how we separate space. And we have our space, and space is just not nothing. The bigger your aura is, you know what I'm saying, that accumulates your astral space. The same way someone else got their own space. Just like I might got a whole room or house that or a whole specific location I just want to myself. You know what I'm saying? Anytime somebody else come invading it, I feel like they are invading my space. Now they're not actually touching me, but they're invading. You see what I'm saying? So what space am I talking about? The astral space. So it's our influence. So we create orbs between each other all day. Now say if we on more of agreeable terms and me and you are bouncing out ideas between each other. What we're doing is creating an orb. We're creating a space between us. And with that world that we're creating, it consists of certain frequency vibrations, which is a mixture of yours and mine. And this is like a whole new body that we both can embody and to experience that imagination that we just created. So say me and you come up with a business plan. You got your ideas and you got all the things you can do. I got my ideas on the things I can do. Boom. Now this is a representation. The business is the representation of what we started. Now before it take any shape or form, people just look at this as an idea because we're going around shopping and shit. But based upon my aura, because everything is expansion, contraction. You know what I'm saying? So it's no such thing as positive, negative, give and receive. It's just if I got a bigger aura than you in a specific location that consists of frequency vibrations that we have to bounce off as far as friction. If my information or what I know is my aura bigger than you, bigger than yours, in that bigger expansion, right? Then your aura will be in the contraction stage, and mine will be in the expansion stage, where you can learn from me and you get expansion, and then the information I'm giving off will be my contraction. You see what I'm saying? So we always, it's like this is where we get the concept of give and receive, or positive and negative, but it's truly just expansion, contraction, and this is how we get the concept of, you know what I'm saying, other people have capabilities other than others. This is why we're not supposed to place like morality and things or religious type things onto our state of nature, because what's happening here is you put yourself in a situation where you're trying to analyze something that's outside of you. For an example, you may be a person who has a lot form of information, right, and a lot of knowledge, but then you may come across a person who don't got that knowledge, but they may have something that you don't have. They may have a lot of money or a lot of resources, right? So as the wise person or as the person with money, y'all are not supposed to conflate the two. The person with money is not supposed to be like, I don't need no info, I don't need to learn this because I ain't have to do this or go to school because I got money. And then the person who's wise ain't supposed to be supposed to add morals and shit, supposed to be like, oh, I don't need to be in money or whatever like that because I'm into this or this spirituality or this religion. See, that's all religious talk, where if you whatever you have, you're truly not outweighing anybody else. So you're not supposed to tie that type of thing to your nature. So for an example, whatever you have that someone else don't have, if they're willing to give, right, to you in order to extract what you have, that's it. Like everybody don't, you might have something what someone else don't have, so you're not supposed to block anything that you get and receive for that. You know, this is how you get the concept of people putting other people on in the music business, or people even helping other people out that may have certain knowledge that other people may not have, or things of that nature. It's like, it's all expansion, contraction, right? And when we're traveling, locations have certain frequency vibrations that we have to bounce off. So, you know, I might be able to vibrate and bounce off frequency with my spirit in this location better than you. AKA, if I know how to play basketball and you don't, and we go to the basketball court in the park, right? Then in that frequency vibration location, right, I'm going to be the expansion, you're going to be the contraction. So I'm already expanded. Now, what you're doing there is I'm going to contract because you're going to learn everything that I already know. So I'm giving off information, I'm giving or something like that, and you're gonna expand. Now it may be an area or location where you're the expanded and I'm the contraction, but we all heartbeats. See what I'm saying? This is why you have to understand there's no such thing as, when we start to tie positive, the real positive, and like positive, negative, and all that shit, that truly don't exist. This is how you know we have the concept of people have certain abilities that other people don't have. This person you may know how to beat up this scrawny person with glasses, but this person probably can beat you in all kind of spelling tests. So you see what I'm saying? This is where that concept come from. If y'all was to come together, That person could use his smarts for your smarts, and then that heart expansion contraction become bigger. It's not a expansion contraction. Let me just absorb your expansion and let you disappear, and you get absorbed in my expansion contraction to the point that you get indoctrinated into my information, into all things I'm trying to do, aka in the spirit realm, expand and contract. And your little information that you got, you just truly up in mine, so you just make my orb bigger. You see what I'm saying? You absorb yourself, your little small expansion contraction up in mine, and made mine bigger. Then you go out and carry my duties and obligations. See what I'm saying? So you have to understand, you have to learn how to separate yourself spiritually. But orbs, this is what orbs all about. Where our frequencies vibrating next to each other. This is why all your organs beat. This is why you got a pulse. This is how you understand the universe. You have to understand things that's going on within you. Like, all religions is about astrology, and astrology is about the body you are in. Like, literally, not only your body, the overall bodies you are in. And once you understand that, you will be able to understand what location and what part of the body you are at, and why you have, and what part of the body your spirit may have clinged on to and wanted to come here as a body in. And that'll let you know why you got all these thoughts. Your spirit may have been birthed and became a thought or imagination from the overall being, lower chakra, lower brain, or kidney, or something like that. However y'all want to call it, or organ. But in this realm of reality, it'll be different. So when you come here, your experiences, this let you know why you are experiencing these ideas. Why you got these ideas. Why you got sex always on your mind. Why you got, these are experiences you have to play out. You know what I'm saying? Because you are that imagination, and you didn't became an individual thought. So you didn't became like, oh, I'm this thought. And then you created a body for yourself in order to experience that imagination. So truly what you think here is pain or anything of that is truly not what you think it is. It's so much knowledge and pain. Like, when I be sick, when air be bouncing through my little stomach and shit like that, and I be sick and I be on the ground, I might be in pain, but my spirit don't be in pain. So I make sure I know how to decipher that and separate that. And do y'all know how much information I be getting? For real. That's what I'm saying. People, you gotta don't be lost in the physical. People on their deathbed, they spirit be all scared to transform, and they spirit ain't got no form. So how the fuck you gonna be scared to die, scared to transform, and your spirit ain't even got no form? Yeah, you gonna be like, oh, I'm about to get out of here. So your spirit gonna transcend and run and hurry up and find another shape and form. The same way here, for you could be scared again, because that's the frequency vibration you resonate with. So you're gonna find another body to inhabit that can experience that world you created. Fear and not wanting to leave and shit like that. But at the same time, your spirit has no shape and form. So people on their deathbed, this is what I want them to understand. Do not be scared. I don't care how old you is, or I don't care how young you is, and how many times you got shot and shit like that. Do not be motherfucking scared, because at your sickest moment, when you separate the physical and don't get lost in the physical from the spirit, your spirit ain't in no kind of pain. And you know how much creation and how much thoughts and how many realms you can go when you get a little bit decapitated from your body, when you get immersed and your body get unconscious for a minute. Man, what? That's the purest creation state in the world. I'm telling you, like, don't be scared of shit. But for the most part, yeah, if you got hurt real bad and you going through pain, man, fuck all that shit. I mean, y'all understand pain is pain, but learn how to jump into your spirit. It's not even thinking about it like that. So learn how to receive all the information that's going on with the pain. You know what I'm saying? Take your spirit and go to the area that's going in pain and shit like that, and live that experience. Like, kind of separate yourself from the pain a little bit and kind of think about what's going on there. And I'm telling you, if y'all start doing that, you will start thinking like, oh shit, like what the fuck? And you'll start, it'll be, and then once you get there, that's individual. I can just tell you how to get there. I can't tell you, once you get there, you your own individual. You gotta express yourself there. You gotta talk to these motherfuckers. You gotta interact with these beings. You gotta correlate. You gotta find your social group there. Now I can't help you there. I can just show you where that shit at. You know what I'm saying? That's what I be talking about. So, you know, a lot of times this comes with orbs. Say me and a person, me somebody else created a business, or we created an idea or something. That's an orb. Now that orb in that space right there that we created is consisted of both of our frequency vibrations. But like, say I don't know what this person doing 24/7. So this person may have a ego. Now, an ego is like a external version of an orb. It's like what a person creates, like a persona, and a lot of times that don't even necessarily have to deal with a person's natural energies. A lot of time orbs is, I mean, a lot of times egos is like sources. So with the they be sources for other people. So when other people pay attention to it, they make it bigger. So this is like a ego can accumulate other people's frequency vibrations that ain't even around and become like a spirit bomb, like how like Goku and like that should come like a spirit bomb and shit. So this person is carrying around an ego, and this person may attach their ego with our orb, with our business, and that ego is consisted of a bunch of other people's frequency vibrations, not even totality of his. So he may be getting injected by spirits and other people's spirits to indulge in other ideas and other concepts that I may not necessarily agree with, and then I might not even necessarily know where it came from. So it might be so minuscule that I may not pick up the frequency vibrations until it's a little too late, or until this cat already then indulged in it a little bit, whether it was pertaining into spirits of stealing money or trying to get over or sign contracts without me, whatever that was. The ego mixed in with our aura, and then that ego is mixed in with a bunch of other shit that ain't even fully this nigga's ideas and shit. So you gotta watch that also, that you're not going into cahoots or doing things with people who got other energies helping their auras, because then you could be going somewhere, right? And now since you are connected and attached to them based upon this aura, right, when you go in your own space somewhere else, you're still vibrating on these frequency vibrations. They're still attached to you. So that information is still bouncing off you, that lights and influences. So you may come across somebody who vibrate on the frequency of this cat and kind of know certain informations that what this dude be doing on his own terms. Now, since you don't know that and you're connected to that whole frequency vibration based upon the aura that he didn't add it to the orb that y'all got, now you show as a piece of that light, a piece of that sound, a piece of that body, a piece of that world, a piece of it. So this person may have got shady dealings from the business from this guy, but now since you are part of that, a person could come to you with that shit, and you don't even know what's going on. Dude might come up to you like, yeah, man, dude sold me a motherfucker wrong pack, man. It ain't even weigh right, and it was cut. You sit back like, damn. I mean, I ain't sell it to you, but see, now you a part of it though. So now you gotta shoot this motherfucker because this nigga want his money back, but he's trying to get it from you. So now you gotta shoot this motherfucker because now you a part of the orb that you created with dude, but you don't even know all the other shit he accumulated. So now you gotta shoot first, ask questions last. Now you gotta go back to your dude and see what the fuck is going on, why you had to do that. So now you gotta filter through his ego and all his frequency vibrations that he done added in the orb that y'all got together. So now you got two things you gotta do. You either cut this motherfucker off and create your own orb, but you're always gonna be connected to a small degree, or you motherfucker create some heavy duty or some tools and some new mechanism into that orb to make this body a more sufficient robot or a more sufficient spaceship, so we don't have to experience those hurdles and asteroids and shit in the astral realm again when we're traveling in the spaceship. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Because that with me shooting that motherfucker, that was basically in the astral realm, us having to fly through the asteroid, or us had to turn and do this and shit like that, and I'm driving a ship at the moment, so I'm thinking like, damn, why we even going in this direction? So I gotta get up, take my seatbelt off, and go in the back. You back there smoking a blunt, probably playing the PS4 and shit. So I gotta ask you like, damn, what did you steer the ship in this direction before I started flying? And then I gotta ask you, now we gotta get into arguments. Now you playing the game too much, nigga. You smoking too much, nigga. You ain't focused, nigga. You got shit going on that we don't even know, man. Next time, let me know the ship was steering in this direction. Because I could have steered it away from that ahead of time. AKA, I probably could have prevented me having to shoot that nigga. You see what I'm saying? Like, it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. Y'all know how I like to get on my little metaphors and shit like that. Because that's truly how the spirit talk. You know what I'm saying? I hate getting too physical at times. Because that make dry videos, low vibrational videos, and I like to vibrate high because this brain changes and shit in emotions and feelings and the thoughts, and it break down firmaments, and the rainbow waters get to come in and have, you know what I'm saying, you get to have your own imagination and you get to bounce off of this, and it's just not like me trying to tell you something. It's just us sharing experiences. That's how my videos feel. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what a motherfucking orb is. Oh yeah, I want to do the orb about a cusp also. Now cusp, if you are a cusp sign, I will allow the cusp orb to be a 5-degree orb, which will be 28, 29, 0, or 1 or 2 degrees of a sign. Now that's a cusp. So, you know, if you are in a relationship or you're with someone who's the same cusp as you, right? All y'all cusps act the same, but if you are a cusp and you're in a relationship with someone who share the same cusp, say for an example, you may be 29 or 28 degrees Libra and you share cusp with someone who's 2 degrees Scorpio. Now what happens here is, see, the 0 of the cusp is a natural blend between the two fields, but it play like a balance scale. So if you are 28 and 29 degrees Libra, what may happens is that may show out first. Those frequency vibrations of Libra may be the first thing that people see, but it's being heavily backed and supported by Scorpio energy. So it's basically the same thing. And then and vice versa. If you're 1 or 2 degrees Scorpio, it's tipped on that balance scale. So the first thing people may be consciously aware of from you is the Scorpio energy, but it's being heavily backed and supported by the Libra energy. And then the 0 degrees, it'd be like the natural blend between two. But if you are not a cusp and you just witnessing one of these signs, you truly may not even know the difference. But if you are a cusp and you needed information on your friend, because y'all both are cusps also, then that's when the only time we would have to actually get into degrees and decipher the actual natural differences between y'all, because each degree matters. You know what I'm saying? Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air, and that's a motherfucking orb.